Hey Alpha fam, let's do a quick market update. Before we begin, I do want to say that nothing in this video is financial advice. Everything is for educational purposes only. This is just my own analysis on the market. Also, if you're new to this channel, if you can please like, comment, and subscribe, we really do appreciate all of the support. Now let's get into the market, guys. So we had a pretty interesting day yesterday. Very nice reversal. Exactly what I said would happen the day before. I said we were going to probably come down here and sweep this liquidity, and that's exactly what we did. We swept the liquidity. Now we're back above the 50 and we are back in a confirmed uptrend on the 4 hour. Now, when I look at the 1 hour, it's showing me an interesting story. It looks like it's almost kind of developing this bull flag right here. Again, we got to see how this thing kind of plays itself out, but it does look pretty good. With that being said, Ethereum also had a big move yesterday back above the 50-day. If you look actually over here, we've got Ethereum is essentially trying, I think today, as long as, there's nothing, I don't think there's anything that would come out crazy today. Today's Friday. I have a feeling today we will see a pretty good push on most of the market to the upside. The reason why is just a trend continuation, guys. We've had really good news this last week. We went through the FOMC. To me, typically, like looking at this on the daily, after FOMCs, we typically dump a day or two, sweep liquidity. We did that. So we dumped into that day. We came down yesterday. We actually had a pretty significant move down. I mean, we didn't just, we swept. You can see we came all the way down yesterday morning. And then about 10 o'clock, you can see this is after the FOMC. About 10 o'clock, we found a local bottom. We started kind of bouncing. We did this double bottom bounce. This was yesterday morning when the US market opened. And then boom, we moved up. And then you can, like I said, you can kind of see this pattern right here that's been kind of playing out for the last few hours. You can see this like resistance zone right here that it's kind of, bouncing off of. You can see this down here for the support. And like I said, I think we'll get a breakout, guys. I don't see there being a reason for us to come back down. Typically Fridays are some of the better days in the market. I tell this to my guys. You have to think what Fridays are. It's payday. What do people do when they get paid? They invest their money. So like this is the day that people pay bills. Companies get money, but it's also the day that people will take whatever extra capital they got and also invest it into the market. We still got to wait for the US market to open. We still got a little bit of time for that. We're just kind of chopping around right now, waiting for that to open up. With that being said, TradFi markets look pretty good too. This is right here, the NASDAQ. This thing is looking pretty good. It did the same similar thing last night, and you can see it had the same thing happen this morning. Kind of a little bit of a push down. Now it's moving back up. We can see the same thing for the futures market. It's doing the same exact thing. It's looking pretty good. Again, guys, you have to look at also Ethereum versus Bitcoin. It's looking good. It looked like it actually came down here and retested this level. Let me grab this. You can see this level that it was finding resistance off of. Now it's finding support. Then again, guys, always remember that's a general rule with crypto. Crypto really respects support and resistance. So prior resistance usually turns into future support. Now, obviously, there's times that doesn't always work out, but for probabilistic standpoints, you can actually go on charts, and I'll just show you like a quick example. All right, if I extend this over and just bring it down a little bit, you see how this was all resistance? Look, support, resistance, broke through, support. So it's just an easy way to be able to dissect this market, guys, and be able to look at things to get yourself better entry points. You don't want to be that person that FOMOs in every time you get positive price reaction. Wait, just be patient, because what comes up always comes down. There's usually going to be retests. You don't have to rush into anything. You're usually going to have plenty of opportunity to get an entry, and that's exactly what they want you to do. They want you to FOMO in. So looking at TradFi, look, guys, I'll be honest. This is the S&P 500. Of course, we're still waiting for it to open up. I think the S&P 500, I think we're going to see a new all-time high. All right. I can see a $7,000 S&P 500 within the next, month or so. This thing is right at that level right now, guys. I mean, it's only got to get to right here. You can see it. It's almost there. It's almost there. So with that being said, I wouldn't be surprised, depending on how the market opens up today. Again, let's see how things open up. I don't see a reason why we would have to come back down for anything unless the market makers decided they wanted to sweep this bottom liquidity. This right here looked pretty good. You can see where buyers stepped up very aggressively yesterday, guys, very aggressively to buy that and push that price level back up when the US market opened. So that's showing that there's a lot of interest at this $90,000 level. especially for this institutional demand that's coming in right now, guys. I think they're buying it up. All right. With that being said, I want to see us obviously get up to this 50-day EMA. This is what I'm really watching. And again, we've already talked about this the other day. When we put this fib here, guys, there's a lot going on in this this pocket right here. You can see how this 382 was support here. I have a feeling when we come back into it, it could play as resistance. All right. I could even see a scenario where maybe the first time we come up into this level, we reject, come back down, maybe bounce, and then we break through. All right. And maybe want to test the 236 one final time. All right. Because you can see it was resistance. Now it's being used as support. All right. So if this thing is going to be the next resistance zone, if it wants to do another retest, this would make a little bit of sense to me. Again, I'm one of those people that try to take things one day at a time, and I deal with a set of probabilities. All right. The market can move in a multitude of different directions, but basically it's either going to go up, or it's going to go down, or it's going to chop sideways. That's your 3 directions. From there, I'm going to look at the market, try to get a bias in which direction I think it's going to go. And then from there, I will deal with a set of probabilities and other things that could happen. You know, everything is not cut and dry with these markets. I tell this people all the time. I have so many guys that only rely on technical analysis, and I don't understand why. I mean, technical analysis is a wonderful tool. It is something that if you're going to be in these markets seriously, you better understand technical analysis, but you also have to understand that technical analysis can go right out the window if Trump decides to make a tweet. It doesn't matter what your charts were doing at that time. It could be bearish, it could be bullish. If Trump makes a tweet countering that directional move, he's going to tear the markets down and your TA is going to go out the window. That's why you have to monitor macro, understand the fundamentals of the different projects and narratives that are actually being adopted, adding on technical analysis for your entries and exits. And then this is how you can actually develop a strategy to outperform this market. Now, with that being said, looking at Bitcoin dominance. All right. We had a retest again yesterday, but we've come back down again. All right. I think we're going to start seeing some relief out of this level. It looks like to me, this thing is just basically, you can see it right here. If I draw a line straight through this, it shows you there was a lot going on at this one level right here. You can see how this was all support right here. All right. But then there was resistance here, and then it came back out, deviated, found support, but then it's breaking through. Now it's finding resistance. What did I just say? Prior support turns into future resistance and vice versa, guys. Always remember that. It's a general principle. Looking at this right here, I want to see us get some moves down. I don't want to just see us keep kind of doing this chop, because we're making a very narrow range. I want to see us get an actual drop out of this range and then to get a move down. I also looking over here, USDT dominance. We've been monitoring this for a while. It's still kind of in the same zone. It hasn't really moved. You can see it's still kind of in there. It still does look like a bear flag. I mean, a bull flag. It's something I don't really like to see, because we don't want this thing to break up to the upside, guys. That's the exact opposite of what we want. We don't want to break up. We want this thing to break down. And you can see that it's had a lot of pressure trying to push it down over the last few days. And that's what we really need to see. Looking at the Dixie, obviously it's well below the 50. We had a pretty big day yesterday. Obviously, I expected to have a little bit of a bounce. At this point, if we're going to see the Dixie start making a downtrend, I'd like to see a bearish retest of the 50 and then a move down further. But right now we're just taking it a day at a time. Also, we're gonna kind of just getting a general look at gold. I always check out gold every day, guys, just to give me a daily bias. Gold's ripping right now, guys. I said it here. I said I didn't think this thing was going to make it past this zone. Prove me wrong. I mean, and again, guys, sometimes these things can carry for a while. The precious metal trade is very hot. Silver's at all-time highs right now too. So, there's obviously some FOMO around this. We don't really want to necessarily see this go up like this, but I'm hoping, what I'm praying for is when this thing finally does make a top, this liquidity is going to have to go somewhere, guys. And the catch-up trade's obviously crypto and Bitcoin. All right. It's just kind of obvious, along with all the adoption. So when this thing finally does unwind, I think we will see something interesting happen. And then even too, guys, this thing is not very far from this. This thing could be making one of these double M patterns where it kind of came up, made an M, and then drop back down. Let's see. I'm taking it one day at a time. One thing I did not like. So we actually had a drop on the Japan government bonds. Actually went down. We've had another move back up, 1.45%, guys. This is something that we're monitoring very closely, is the Bank of Japan raising interest rates at the end of this month. This is the only thing that I can think of on the horizon in the near future that could actually derail this move to the upside, guys. It's literally the only thing that I can think of right now, unless obviously like something crazy happened. You and I are talking about like it'd have to be crazy. We're talking about like somebody getting bombed, World War III breaking out, kind of crazy. All right. Other than that, this is really the only thing I can see that could really, have a damper on us. But even that, with that being said, today is the first day of quantitative easing, guys. Technically, today is the first day. So I think people just have to be patient. I think people have to understand what's actually going on a broader scale and understand the adoption, all the other things that are happening with the macro. 2026 is gearing up to be a very good year for these markets, and you're not going to want to fade these opportunities as they come. All right, guys. With that being said, I'm watching things closely. Keep notifications on. We're going to be able to talk soon. I will be posting another update. Also, if, like I say every video, guys, if you're trying to really understand this stuff, if you're trying to really learn it, I'm a big proponent of people building trust in me. Watch my videos. Go back and see what I talk about. All right. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm not, new to this. This isn't something I just started doing. I'm a expert inside of Capital Club, where I host crypto talk workshops. I have, I founded Alpha Syndicate because I was getting an overwhelming demand of people just like you that just wanted to understand what was actually going on. They were tired of chasing these low cap pump and dump meme coins. They were tired of, joining these communities, paying thousands of dollars to go into call rooms just to always seem like they were getting dumped on. People just get tired of that stuff, and they want to actually learn what's going on. They want to be intelligent investors. Well, I got a solution. It's called Alpha Syndicate. If you want some more information, click the link below. We'll see you inside.